I hope you had a good lunch. My name is Anya Hagiwara. I'm a security architect at Microsoft. I'm usually based in Japan, supporting automotive customers worldwide. It's an honor to stand here today to present our insight in this industry. As the automotive industry in Japan is the most prominent and largest industry in the world. This would not have been possible without a contribution of so many people. I would like to thank my teammates, Georg Finkenstein, Andre Piazza, Ron Ishram, and Kaivan Karimi. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with such talented individuals. Together with my co-presenter, Robin Wright, we're here today to discuss one of our most pressing challenges, automotive security. We'll talk about this in the context of a new era of cybersecurity in the automotive industry. So, how many of you own a Tesla or wanted to get one? Right?
Few.
It's sleek looking, it's connected to the internet, it's autonomous. You can just sit back and relax. Let it take you wherever you need to go. But everything connected to AI, it's that much vulnerable to cyber attacks. You can access it, then the hackers can too. In today's presentation, we'll explain the importance of cybersecurity in the automotive industries, walk you through the unique challenges that other industries don't have, and show you how we can mitigate the risk to protect ourselves from cyber attacks and ensure the safety and reliability of our vehicles. The automotive industry is undergoing significant changes and developments, driven by advancements in technology, changing customers' preferences, and growing concerns over environmental sustainability. Before 1996, cars couldn't connect to anything. But today, OEMs are gradually adopting a software and services approach. Autonomous and connected vehicles are becoming the industry standards. And they're moving towards electronic electric vehicles from internal combustion engines. This is the macro trend the automotive industry is facing. There's also changes in electronic architecture from a flat structure with up to 150 electronic control units called ECUs, controlling various components. As new features are added, so are ECUs. With control area network, local interconnected network, and the introduction of Ethernet, all plugged in, adding lots of wires. A typical modern vehicle today has upwards of 2.5 miles of wires. And guess how much it weighs? About 150 pounds. It's the second heaviest piece of equipment in the vehicle, besides the engine. Then we move to consolidated domain controllers with the sensors, which aim to reduce weight and complexity. While earlier models are now connected to the internet, it required a proximity to the car to auto theft and perform malicious activities using its electronics. Now, modern cars are part of the larger interconnected ecosystems. making them vulnerable to cyber attacks. Today, car manufacturers are actively working towards zonal architecture to their model year 2025-2026. And it will enhance data distribution, manufacturing, weight, and security. Depending on the snapshot you take of electronic architecture, today's cars on the road are no longer just the simple modes of transportation, but rather smart devices on the wheels. 24 billion US dollars. Now that's a lot of money. According to a report, the worldwide automotive industry is expected to lose 24 billion US dollars to cyber attacks by 2030. The digital transformation has increased the complexity and connectivity of the vehicle, and this increased new risks of cyber attacks. So if it's forecasted as such, why not just implement the cybersecurity measures, you might wonder? Well, the automotive industry faces unique challenges in implementing cybersecurity measures that other industries don't. Let's take a look at what they are. First of all, the automotive industry has a unique supply chain structure requiring a collaboration and coordination among a number of vendors and suppliers. This is a partial list of external suppliers for the new BMW 3 Series. While you may think that BMW makes the entire car, in reality, they're just integrating auto parts. The major auto parts are made by Tier 1 manufacturers, and the automotive supply chain are often global in scope, with suppliers located in different countries and regions. A single car typically has about 30,000 parts. It's important to note that even the smallest nuts and bolts are made by vehicle suppliers. And the smallest nuts and bolts are not like ECUs, domain controllers, or infotainment systems that are usually targeted by cyber criminals. So you may think security is a less of concern for them. But that's not true. That's not entirely true, because those suppliers that are not directly involved in making those auto parts need to also have a good security posture as a company. Otherwise, they'll be the weakest link, and attackers can potentially gain access to the automotive manufacturer's system through them. Just about a year ago, a major Japanese automaker suspended their domestic factory operation for an entire day because the supplier was hit by a cyber attack. Media said that they lost around 13,000 car units, which is equivalent to a third of their global output. Enforcing security controls might be manageable if it's within subsidiaries and group companies, but with the complex supply chain of automotive industries, this can make it difficult for manufacturers to monitor the cybersecurity practices for all their suppliers and ensure that they meet all the standards. Not only is the supply chain complex, but also the computing technology is more complicated than ever. Did you know that today's modern car has more lines of code than Space Shuttle? Today's cars with advanced features like adaptive cruise control, advanced driver assistance systems, it has approximately 150 million lines of code. And some experts said that it's going to triple by 2030. So you can see that it's a huge number of code being written by a huge number of different companies. And obviously, they have to be updated and integrated in a timely manner to meet the standards. As the automotive industry becomes more reliant on software, this drastically increases the potential vulnerabilities. So I'll ask you all, how can we keep our vehicles' software systems protected? Another challenge is that the automotive vehicle has the long product life cycle. Car is designed for about 3 to 5 years before it gets on the road, meaning that there are decisions that they have to make in the beginning of the process, such as which software to use. But by the time the car leaves the factory, the software is potentially outdated. What about the life expectancy of the product? The operation phase of the vehicle is the longest internal of any product life cycle. For example, how long do you usually use your iPhone before switching it to a newer model? A year? 2 years? Unlike IT devices that become outdated or even obsolete in about 6 years at best, a modern car has a life expectancy of up to 15 years and more. It means that we'll have thousands and millions of legacy systems running on the road if we don't design security in mind today. I think you can all agree that this will be a challenging task to require continuous testing and updating of cybersecurity systems and protocols across all the vehicles. In the automotive industry, the safety of driver and a passenger has always been the top priority. Safety regulation focuses on reducing the likelihood of the hazards, but cybersecurity regulations are new and are always evolving and can vary by locations, making it difficult for the automakers to comply with all standards. A new security regulation called WP29 will be effective by July of 2024. It requires every new vehicle on the road in Europe, Japan, and Korea to pass security inspection and obtain a security certificate. Think of it like this yin-yang symbol. Automotive safety and security are closely related and interdependent. Both aim to protect drivers and passengers and other road users. Safety and security measures such as risk assessment and management principles can complement each other to increase overall protection. Now that we covered the challenges of automotive industries, let Robin walk you through the threat landscape for automotive security.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Anya. Welcome to our session. It is very bright here on the lights, so it's very challenging making eye contact. But let me start off. One of my passions has been building, designing, and riding electric skateboards, which I've been doing over for the last 9 years. This is why I have a special interest in this topic. Electric skateboard is like a mini electric vehicle and is known as a PVE, a personal electrical vehicle. And I've experienced and suffered some serious injuries with the interference of the remote control and the remote management of my electric skateboard going down the road at 35 miles an hour. It did not end well for me. The vehicle-to-everything V2X technology enables bidirectional communication between vehicles, known as V2V, as well as within infrastructure, V2I, and also to the GPS grid, V2G, as well, and even pedestrians, V2P. This technology has potential for improving road safety and traffic flow that will allow vehicles to communicate information about the roads, the conditions, traffic conditions, and even potential hazards ahead of them. The V2X technology is increasingly popular as a development platform, especially around the advancement of smart mobility applications and their APIs. However, this technology also presents a new cybersecurity concern. V2X communication relies on wireless communication, which can be intercepted by hackers. And additionally, if a malicious actor gain control to the V2X network, they potentially cause widespread chaos on the roads today. Therefore, it's critical for the automotive industry to implement a strong security measures to protect the V2X ecosystem from cyber attacks. Thanks. When we go through the multiple articles on the web and insights from security researchers, we are seeing an increase of awareness around the security instances that are taking place in the automotive industry. In January of 2021, there was a hacker that exposed a vulnerability in a European major tier 1 infotainment, I battle with that one, system, and that also was implemented into a Asian OEM vehicle as well. The trends continued in 22 and 23, with numerous vulnerabilities that were discovered by white, gray, and black hackers. They range from EV charging infrastructure, APIs, attacks on the back-end infrastructure, infotainment systems, ECUs, and in-car subscription services, as well as into remote keyless entry systems as well. There were also ransomware and supply chain attacks that took place, as well as information being on sale on the dark web. Based on the security incidents we see in the news, and we see it's not only linked to organized crime, but also to nation-state actors and their associate groups. Microsoft has been tracking nation-state actors by the periodic table. Nobelium is also known as APT29, and it is a threat group that has been attributed to the Russians' foreign intelligence services. Broman, also known as Energetic Bear, has been implicated in several attacks against the automotive manufacturers and supply chain. In the last year, we saw Nobelium attempt to compromise privileged identities in cloud services, as well as in managed service providers, to attempt to gain targeted downstream access into the supply chain. We have seen nation-states present some of the most advanced and persistent threats to our customers, including intellectual property theft, espionage, surveillance, credential theft, destruction attacks, and more. This has also been observed by China, North Korea, and Iran in the automotive industry over the past few years. Our approach to cybersecurity is a focus on the adversary. This means that at any one given time, we are tracking over 300 unique threat actors, 160 nation states, and 50 ransomware groups. The Microsoft is retiring their current naming convention for their threat actor groups. We're going to be moving to a new taxonomy. It's been announced here at RSA as well, and it's going to be based on a weather theme. Our Global Compromise Recovery Team is a specialized team that engages with our enterprise customers post an IR investigation. and specializes on the recovery process from the cyber attacks related to APTs or human-operated ransomware. The last 18 months, we've had multiple engagements in the supply chain, in manufacturing and IT, and that also included car manufacturing as well. But many of our customers were impacted by some form of credential theft. That means that a threat actor was able to get credentials of a legitimate user and use that through malware attacks and other techniques to gain control to privilege access within the environment. We often see organizations that have a number of gaps and low maturity levels in the security operations, from the inability to patch quickly, the gaps in detection and response technologies, including silos between on-prem and cloud-based services. We also saw gaps in the incident response process, which had a direct impact in the time to respond and recover quickly during these cyber attacks. Many impacted organizations also lack data protection controls in place. We found that their backends have been infected or compromised through human-operated ransomware. We also saw that data exploitation had taken place. Going through the insights, we found that there's a common theme that we see. It's known as security hygiene, and we've been speaking about this for a long time. In the security, when we look at the security hygiene, we see that we have excessive admin credentials in the environment. We see that there are weak security controls around the admin credentials. One of the other areas is around patch management. It's just not a challenge within the Microsoft ecosystem. We found that patch management is a different challenge through the whole organization and within the OT environment. The last is around legacy. We see legacy protocols, legacy operating systems, and linked to that legacy is when you look at Active Directory and Azure Active Directory, we see bad architectures that have taken place. This is not a new problem to IT security. It's been around for years, and based on what we've seen in the news, it's definitely taking place in the automotive industry. We have published additional sites from our engagements in the Microsoft Digital Defense Report. When you take into consideration the various attack surfaces related to the automotive industry and the variety of techniques and procedures that can be used by an actor, we are currently having a challenge, a complex challenge for the automotive industry, and there will be increase in the future as actors become more sophisticated and start targeting the connected vehicle. Today, majority of the attacks are taken remotely. We'll need to have a holistic approach on how we address the security development lifecycle and threat modeling around these new attack vectors. While the automotive vehicle attacks are not widespread, data breaches, ransomware attacks continue to be a persistent business threat to the automotive industry. Based on the cyber attacks, the vectors of attack, this can lead to vehicle theft, brand reputation damage, including vehicle recall. It will also be possible to hold the vehicle for ransom, or can be used in a terrorist attack by remotely maneuvering the vehicle. Cyber attacks in this industry can lead to the loss of human lives. The technology area of V2X continues to be a great interest to nation states and criminals as well. When you look into the complexity of V2X and the vectors of attack and the consequences of the attack, we need to have a zero trust and defensive depth approach to the security architecture so we can cover all the risks, not just in IT, but in OT and IoT as well. I'm going to hand back to Anya.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks, Robin. Now that we have a better understanding of threat landscape of automotive security, let's talk about how to combat these threats. IT professionals are familiar with cybersecurity for the connected devices and network. But as OT security is introduced, some of them feel intimidated and think that they are different animals altogether. But in reality, the approach is the same when it comes to zero trust and defense in depth. While there may be some nuances on always on, always connected, and limited visibilities, for the most part, the same baseline topologies and technologies apply to both. The only difference with OT security is that we must consider the full life cycle of security from the design and development through the manufacturing process and into the field, in accordance with regulations and requirements from WP29. Typically, there are companies that specialize in design and development. Others focus on manufacturing, and some solely on security operation centers. Bringing all three under one roof and demonstrating their interconnectedness and the need for comprehensive management is not a new concept, but it hasn't been done often. Once you understand the system's operation, the same IT topologies and principles can be applied. NIST offers a framework that can help improve critical infrastructure cybersecurity. And you know what? We need to consider cars as a critical infrastructure. I want to call out the regular and proactive in-field health checks are the gap in the IT security and automotive security. We all know that reactive security is not enough, right? It's even more so for the critical infrastructure like automotive vehicles. Regular in-field health checks are necessary, and it's the biggest gap we see in this today. This will show you the different stages of a car's life cycle and emphasizes the importance of having end-to-end security controls. It's crucial to prioritize security during design and development phase by adopting secure by design approach and incorporating security development lifecycle management. As Robin said, it's important to apply zero trust model and defense in depth approach to secure the network and prevent unauthorized access in the IT and OT environment. The manufacturing process also includes integrating safety and security measures into the car from the initial design phase until it reaches the end user, ensuring no security vulnerabilities are introduced during the manufacturing process and into the supply chain. Once the car is in operation, it's imperative to manage its software, safety, and security throughout its lifespan under varying operating conditions and in different geographies. So when I break it down like this, you can see that there's nothing new about security that you don't already know in IT security. There's no reason for anybody to be intimidated by OT security, including automotive security. Let me share how Microsoft is thinking about automotive security. Our approach to lifecycle management aligns with the requirements set forth by WP29 and ISO 21434, demonstrating our commitment to a holistic security framework. It involves comprehensive lifecycle management strategy, starting from design and extending through operation in the field. Security by design evaluate the code base, ensuring robustness, conducting a software bill of material analysis, detecting vulnerabilities, managing credentials, and scanning for the full security posture of the code before production. Protecting shop floor ensures the original security posture is maintained throughout the manufacturing process without introducing security vulnerabilities. It's recommended to use the same solution throughout, from design to OT, and from visibility to threat detection, while maintaining unified tools, uniformed approach, continuous data collection and monitoring. This feeds into data state, which then feeds into threat intelligence, enabling a proactive patching. SOC is not just about IT security anymore. We must also consider mobility OT security, which include vehicle SOC. With the growing complexity of the modern cars, the industry trend is towards using more common tools and frameworks, such as open source softwares and standardized communication protocols, to consolidate and leverage existing infrastructure, leading to cost savings. So why not with security as well? Use common tools and frameworks for security, especially SOC capability. There's often a misconception that IT, OT, and vehicle SOC are independent and localized entity. But nobody wants to end up managing tens and thousands of SOCs, do we? Of course, there are different classes of assets, risk profiles, security assurances, levels of liability, and other factors that can make it difficult for automotive industry to achieve unified SOC. But it's also true that it's seen as a key part of the vision for the future automotive security. Hackers are already taking advantage of using AI to increase the chances of breaking into your network. So what are we waiting for? We have an innovative approach to help security professionals identify threats and solve solutions faster than ever, leveling the playing field against the bad actors. While the effectiveness of AI in security is not just about algorithm, the more recent and relevant data the algorithm is trained on, the more accurate and effective it will be at detecting malicious activities. Microsoft is a unique position in the market because of the sheer volume of data that we collect. 65 trillion signals every 24 hours, which is far more than any security vendors combined. As I mentioned earlier, looking ahead, data sharing will play an increasingly important role in automotive industry. As the industry's data holdings continue to expand exponentially, it's important to consider how this data is shared and protected. And that's why our concerns go beyond just security. We also encompass safety, compliance, data protection, identity, and privacy. It's essential to address all these areas simultaneously rather than focusing solely on security or safety. At Microsoft, we offer solutions that cover all 6 areas to provide a complete and effective end-to-end lifecycle management to our customers in the automotive industry. It's worth noting that it is equivalent to the work of 50 to 60 different companies working together. The automotive industry needs duly skilled players like Shohei Ohtani, Do you know who he is? He's a Japanese baseball player who can hit and pitch. He's playing for Los Angeles Angels, creating both defense and offense at an elite level. This skilled person like him, in both car engineering and security, could help develop more secure vehicles, ensuring that industry stays ahead of curve in the fight against the cyber attacks. But not everyone is lucky enough to have Shohei Ohtani and their teams. But we're here. We're here to provide security professionals to help your engineers and allow you to focus your resources on creating the cars of tomorrow. As the threats are evolving and becoming more sophisticated, you need to take cybersecurity more seriously and implement effective measures to protect your systems from cyber threats. Through a combination of technology, processes, and training, we can work towards building a more secure and resilient automotive industry for the future. In your next step, you must take a collaborative approach to ensure the secure communication protocols are in place, that you deploy effective threat detection mechanisms, and that security is built into every stage of your automotive product lifecycle. You also need to stay proactive and vigilant in monitoring the entire supply chain to stay ahead of potential threats. What we are trying to do here is future-proof the vehicle against our own advancing technology. We need to be adaptive so the cars don't get outdated and left behind as the automotive industries are rapidly evolving and becoming more connected and automated and rely on software and data-driven systems. We'll guide you through this journey. Let's work together to remain relevant and competitive in the rapidly changing market by improving security in the automotive industries and prevent the potential threats of turning these 6,000 pounds of smart devices on the wheels into out-of-control chaos against humanity. Thank you. We'll be exiting out from this door. If you have any questions, concerns, wants to exchange any ideas, we'll be happy to take it outside. Thank you.
Thank you.